Emergency! Premiere Red!
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my review of the Tokusou Sentai Dekaranger 20th SP1 license, which actually isn't labeled Memorial Edition, even though I probably put that in the title just to signify it. It is using the Memorial Edition SP license mold, but it is a little different. This was the power-up item for the Dekaranger 20th Fireball Booster movie, which allowed for Premier Deca Red to appear. Minor spoilers in the video for the sounds, but the basic sounds are, there's some things I have to explain. Anyways, this was the new form of the movie, just like they did with Abaranger and Hurricanger's 20th anniversaries. They gave the red a new form. In this case, it's a full new device as opposed to just an extra add-on piece. But just like those previous two, you had to buy it, at least firsthand, you had to buy it in the bundle set with the Blu-ray. So this was kind of nicely packed. This was just kind of like in there, nice and neat. It kind of weirded me out because the box was so tiny. And then you also get the movie on Blu-ray. And what's cool here is there's actually like some bonuses included. So you got the poster here where you can see all of the character portraits are lined up for the main cast alongside the D-Sword Vega, Premier Deca Red. Here's the new rookie that Bon is training in the movie. So he's on the cover. This was a fun movie. I quite enjoy it. Has like all the classic Dekaranger vibes. It felt like an extension of the show and really showed how great like the Dekarangers are as people and as characters. So there's the movie. It's on Blu-ray, of course. If you're living outside Japan, Region A Blu-rays are compatible in all players, which is pretty nice. There's also a second disc, and this is a CD with the 20th anniversary version of the Dekaranger theme song, as well as the instrumental version of it. So that's a pretty nice bonus. Over here, there was a couple little neat pack-ins. So first of all, we have the Toei video catalog for Tokusatsu. So we got King Oger versus Don Brothers, King Oger versus Kyoryuger, talking about their bonus pack-in toys. Yeah, it's very common here. Here is the Kamen Rider Gazer special, which has like another pack-in thing. The Kamen Rider Futo PI series Blu-ray, and then advertising that, oh yeah, there's a Futo PI movie for Kamen Rider Skull. Here's one, for the Gotchard summer movie and the Boom Boomger summer movie. Those are coming out about a week apart. Of course, there's advertising the Dekaranger 20th and the final Yodona spin-off special, which does come with a card, it seems. So pretty cool. Neat little thing. There's a couple other, like, extra things that are like advertisements if you live in Japan. The cool part, too, is you get these cards, which I kind of didn't expect, but here's one of the main 6 Dekarangers. There they are on the top of that building. Here they are at the beach with Premier Deca Red in place, which is really cool. Here's Premier Deca Red holding the D-Sword Vega. For those that haven't watched it, I did review the D-Sword Vega, so go check that out if you haven't. And then here he is fighting the main villain with the sword, which is really cool. So a neat little selection of cards. It also came in this plastic wrapper, but the glue was stronger than the wrapper, so it kind of like already tore on me. So I've just kind of like relegated it to kind of go with it, slide it inside the little Toei pamphlet so they don't get scratched, and keep it in the case. But it's pretty neat. So there's no English subtitles on this release, which is typical for Toei Tokusatsu stuff. But if you are buying the SP1 license and you spend, an extra to get the Blu-ray, at least, that'll play if you live in a area with Region A, which is neat. It's kind of interesting also that it's not like in a Blu-ray sized case, like some of the Kamen Rider Blu-rays I have from Toei Video, but it's an actual DVD size case, maybe because Dekaranger was on DVD before, and they're like, oh, or the other movies, so they want to keep it consistent. Whatever it is, it's pretty cool. Also, adding to this, I got my set from Amazon Japan, so I got this cast audio drama CD, which, I can listen to because it's a CD, but I do not comprehend because I do not know Japanese. A skill set that I probably should have, but I don't. So that's kind of the bonuses that are included that's not the SP1 license itself. So let's go ahead and take a look at that SP1 license. But before we go to the main event, be sure to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Helps the video out, helps things get out to more people. let's take a look at the SP1 license, compare it to the SP license, and hear all the sounds. Just for fun, here's a look at the menu on the Dekaranger Blu-ray. It's that same poster art. What's kind of cool is that each little thing is done like an SPD badge, and it makes sound effects when you click on things. So it's got like play movie, there's a scene selection, which kind of pops up down here like really slow, but it's animated, it's styled, it's fun. Then you got the next menu, which is like your audio setup and subtitle menu. There are subtitles on the set, but they're Japanese subtitles, not English, obviously, because Toei doesn't really care that much. And then what's cool is the bonus features. So like, you know, regardless of not being subbed, there's like a 51-minute behind the scenes documentary. There's like a little like file thing. Like I was like flipping through these and I was like, ooh, what's this? And it's like a little file about like the monsters in the movie, and like you can look at concept art. And I think that's kind of a neat little gallery feature. So, you know, having this disc, despite not having like, you know, subtitles, and it's not like, you know, I can't really just watch the movie as easy on here. I think the bonus material made it kind of worth it to get, specifically with the SP1 license, which we really should get on to looking at. All right, so here it is, the SP1 license for the SPD upgrade suit system. This is a pretty cool license. It has shades of the Fire Squad license, which Bond was using for a long time, but is actually, you know, it's more unique. It specifically is the #1 that you see on Deca Red, which I think is pretty cool. It's got, you know, the red and black colors, so it's red here, black there. It's all black on the back side, which is accurate to the movie as far as I can tell. It's cool too, the little like triangle for the slider is painted gold this time, which is a neat little detail. Otherwise, it looks, you know, vaguely similar to an SP license. So here's the Memorial Edition SP license, which I previously reviewed, and you should go check out if you haven't already. This is basically the same thing. That the whole front is redesigned, because obviously you have the big SPD is about the same, but then the one here where you don't have anything here, so you have, you know, Change Phone Judge takes up most of this, whereas Change Phone and Judge is there. This is also a flat decal on here, whereas this had kind of like a raised texture to everything, so it's a little bit flatter. That's probably because there's a lot going on here, which is totally cool. Mold-wise, they are identical on the outside. It's just, you know, paint differences that are a big thing. Also, I did notice that even the one carries up here past the cutoff point, so it's a little bit more heavily painted. But otherwise, it shares pretty much the same basic features. You have one mode, which if you turn to mode 1, it's just like a roleplay toy. You turn to mode 2, that'll get you like the specific character voice sounds. But you can kind of see that they added a new stamp of a trademark on here from this one, which didn't have that. And that's because there's one other physical difference, which is that the SP1 license just comes like this, whereas the SP license also included the holster piece. And that holster piece is where your copyright information for the mold was. So they had to transfer it here to this part. So it's kind of interesting. That was also why the box being smaller freaked me out, because I was expecting a box similar size to this. But yeah, it only comes with the license, so if you want the holster, you have to have the regular, but of course it fits because it's the same exact device pretty much. The other interesting part too is when it comes to sounds, this had, you know, obviously voice lines for 5 different Dekarangers. It had pieces of music, specific things like swap mode and you know, extra judgment sounds and like all kinds of voice lines in it. Whereas this is more limited because it's just based on one movie, so there's not as many sounds in this. So I'd say that in terms of like price scaling, this cost me more because I had to buy the Blu-ray and everything, but this one has a lot more features. So that's just kind of how it goes. Now, the other cool thing with the 2 different licenses, they are completely unique sounds. There's nothing carried over, so this is at least a unique sound set. Also of note, the actual badge part. On the Memorial SP license, there was 5 of these, and you can pop them out and swap them out. Like I use Deca Yellow because she's my favorite. But of course, this only came with Deca Red, but it's the same design. So if you wanted to use this one on the regular SP license, totally cool. If you want to say that Deca Yellow is now Premier Deca Red, you also have that option. There are choices here, which I think is neat. So it's kind of cool. Once again, similar to the front design, this is a very similar design, but not exact. So you can kind of see the Premier Deca Red has a little bit more flourishy design than the regular Dekarangers, but I think that's appropriate with how the rest of the device looks. All right, so I think it's time to take a look at the sounds inside this. We'll start with Mode 1 and go through the basic functions of the SP1 license.
Judgment time. Judgment time.
So yes, the three basic functions work exactly how you think. The chain sound is, of course, different for Premier Deca Red specifically. The phone sound, it's interesting, there's no voice lines, it just does the phone ring. And then the judge mode lets you do guilty or innocent, depending on if you push the button, you get guilty. If you hold the button, you get innocent. So pretty standard stuff. The thing I do like about the differences here is that the badge is slightly different. So it's all silver here. They added that nice little red banner to it, which I think is really cool. For the phone mode, similar design scheme. And in fact, I think this one's actually much closer. It's a little bit different. Yeah, this is more, in general, everything's a little bit more angular here, where it's a little bit more rounded here. So you can kind of see they have similar functionality. A little bit harder to read on this one than this one. Keypad is mostly the same, with the same like consistent design elements. And then of course the judgment mode is basically the same as well. This one has a little bit bigger text for judgment time, but you can see slightly different, but slightly upgraded. This is still one of the coolest features to be in a toy because I just love that they got the lights working on these. So you can have like double judgment time going on if you want. Which is pretty fun. And I think having both is fun because of that. I think it's nice to have like a Deca Red specific one versus a regular SPD one. Let's do a quick comparison of the transformation sounds because they're quite different. So that was kind of the difference in the transformation sounds. This one's actually a little bit longer. This one is a little bit more dynamic. The other interesting part is that once you've transformed, if you press the button again, you just get the siren sound. All right, so now I think it's time to switch it over to mode 2, where we'll actually get voice lines to go alongside of it. No music tracks, though, unlike the SP license, which should have music tracks. This one's just going to be dialogue. Okay, so now that we have it turned on, the phone mode now will have 5 lines of dialogue. Nothing more than that, but we're going to go through all of them here. There's no reason to make a separate video like I did for some other items. So it's pretty cool. We get sounds of Bon and the rookie that he's training. So it's got both of them in it. Now, if you have seen the movie, you know what's next. And if you haven't, then minor spoiler. So both Bon and his subordinate use the Premier Deca Red. They use this license. So if you slide this switch to change first, you'll get Bon's voices. And then the second time you do it, you'll get his subordinate. So that's pretty cool. And then when we do the judge mode, we will get just Bon doing the judgment for the villain of the movie.
Judgment time.
アリエナイザーに対してはスペシャルポリスの要請により遥か銀河の彼方にある宇宙最高裁判所から判決が下される。デリート許可。
So yeah, pretty cool. You get basically all the sounds you would need for this one movie. Now, because of that, it does have a little more limited soundscape than the SP license because there's no music tracks or anything, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. So the question comes up, do you need this? Well, it's going to be personal preference for me. I'm a big Dekaranger fan. I thought it looked amazing, and I definitely wanted to get it. It does have less features than your standard SP license, and probably even less features than the upcoming Master license, which I'm planning to get and review, so stay tuned. But the sound features are just going to be a lot more limited on this, and I always knew that going in. The cool part is that they are the same size. Physically, it's not a downgrade. And even sound-wise, it's not a downgrade so much as just a limited scope of the actual usage of the device. But if you're picking an SP license out of these two, obviously the original is going to be the best way to go because it just does so much more. Now, that being said, this is still pretty cool, but it's going to be for your diehard Dekaranger fans like me, the ones who want to have every variation of the SP license. You know, I'm sitting here hoping they'll do a Memorial Fire Squad. I want a Swan license, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm that level of fan. You know, a Deca Bright throttle brace in addition to a Memorial, like, Deca Brake throttle brace. Anyways, I'm getting off track. The point is, if you're somebody that's like wanting to buy things like the D-Sword Vega, this is probably in your category of Dekaranger fan. So it's all going to be up to you, and I hope that I provided enough detail here. It's definitely a little bit harder to get because of it is bundled with that Blu-ray set, so a lot of prices are going to be expensive online, but hopefully you can find it by itself, unless you really want the Blu-ray, in which case, go all in. It's a good release if this is something you're looking for, but if it's not, then probably pass it on by, and if you don't have one of these and you love Dekaranger, highly recommend the original SP license quite a bit. But it's cool. We got two licenses in the quote-unquote Memorial Edition style now. We got the Master license coming up. Like I said, I hope we get more. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my review on this little guy. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe and the notification bell. Helps this video get out to more people, helps this channel grow. Really appreciate that, and thank you to all of you who have already done it without me asking. Really, I'm super grateful for that. If you want to continue the conversation, come join our Discord server in the link below. You can also catch us on live streams every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And consider joining as a channel member to help support videos like this and the channel in general. We get perks like early access to videos, perks like member exclusive live streams, and some special shoutouts. Let's give some special shoutouts to our channel members. So shout out to our channel members, including Captain Tier, SpinDash54, Toma K, MasterBen95, Jamie's World, Forever1000, Richard K Breezy, SGT Fan 2005, Super Robozilla Go, Gil Rollins Kingman, Nomo Toka, Oni no Nichan, David Johnson, Sketchestar Rex, Ruben Abrego, and Ben Odinson. Thank you all for your support. If you so wish, you can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky at Soundout12. You can find my awesome rap designer on social media and Discord at DarkClaw643. And you can find Hero Club at HeroClub.com for tokusatsu interviews, news, reviews, and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying, Emergency! Premiere Red!